Captain Do-hyun stood at the large window of the UES Hope. His eyes moved across the stars. This was his 5th year as captain of Earth's best ship. The Hope was not the biggest ship humans had built, but it was the fastest and had the best weapons. Do-hyun turned as Commander Sunmi walked onto the bridge. Sunmi had been his friend for 10 years. There was no one he trusted more. "Captain, all systems are normal," Sunmi said. "We will reach the edge of our patrol area in 2 hours." "Thank you, Commander," Do-hyun said. He looked back at the stars. Something feels different today. Sunmi knew to trust the captain's feelings. He had saved their lives more than once, because he sensed danger before anyone else. "I'll tell the crew to stay alert," she said. Do-hyun nodded. The UES Hope was at the edge of the solar system. Their job was to watch for any danger coming from deep space. Most days were quiet. Nothing happened. Today, Do-hyun felt that would change. Lieutenant Jin-ho was the youngest officer on the ship. At only 25, he was in charge of all weapons. Some people thought he was too young for such a big job, but Jin-ho knew more about the ship's guns and missiles than anyone else. "Lieutenant, the captain wants everyone on alert." Sunmi's voice came through the speaker. Jin-ho sat up straight. "Yes, Commander, all weapons are ready." He began to check all systems again. Jin-ho had changed some of the weapon systems last month. His changes made the guns fire faster. No one had approved his changes. If anyone found out, he would be in trouble. But Jin-ho knew his ideas were good. In the science lab, Dr. Yoon-ji was looking at space rocks. She had studied alien life for 15 years, but had never seen a real alien. Some people thought aliens did not exist. Yoon-ji knew better. The computer made a sound. Yoon-ji looked at the screen. The sensors were picking up something strange. She pressed a button. "Captain, I'm seeing some odd energy readings." "How odd?" asked Do-hyun. "Nothing in our records matches this pattern," she said. "It's coming from beyond the Kuiper belt, moving fast toward us." "How fast?" Yoon-ji checked the numbers again. "Faster than anything we've ever seen, Captain." Chief Engineer. Taewon was in the engine room when the alarm started. He had been fixing a small problem with the cooling system. "All hands to stations," came the captain's voice. "This is not a drill." Taewon ran to the main engine controls. If they needed to move fast, he would be ready. The Hope's engines were the best in the fleet. Taewon had made sure of that. "Engine room, give me full power," said Do-hyun. "Engines at full power, Captain," Taewon replied. Whatever was coming, they could outrun it if needed. On the bridge, Do-hyun watched the main screen. The thing Yoon-ji had seen was getting closer. "Put it on screen," he ordered. What they saw made everyone quiet. A large ship, unlike any human ship, was moving toward them. Then another appeared, and another. Soon the screen showed 50 alien ships. "Send the first contact message," Do-hyun said. Earth had prepared for this day. They had a message ready in many formats that any alien should be able to understand. "Message sent, Captain," said Mirai, the communications officer. Everyone waited. The alien ships kept coming. Now there were over 100. "No answer to our message," Mirai said. Do-hyun frowned. "Send it again." The alien ships stopped. They formed a line facing the Hope. "Still no answer," Mirai said. Then the screen changed. An alien face appeared. It looked almost like a human, but with gray skin and large black eyes. "People of Earth," the alien said in perfect English. "I am Supreme Commander Vex of the Krell Empire. Your planet is now ours. Surrender now or be destroyed." Do-hyun stepped forward. "This is Captain Do-hyun of the United Earth Space Force. We welcome peaceful contact with other species, but we will not surrender our home." The alien made a sound like laughter. "You have one small ship, we have over 500, you cannot win." As if to prove this point, more alien ships appeared. The screen showed them all. Hundreds of ships, each one bigger than the Hope. "You have one Earth day to decide," said Vex. "Then we attack." The screen went dark. "They've cut communication," Mirai said. Do-hyun turned to his crew. Everyone looked scared. He did not blame them. "Send a message to Earth," he said. "Tell them everything." "Yes, Captain." Mireille said. Sunmi moved closer to Do-hyun. What are your orders? Do-hyun looked at the screen showing the alien fleet. They were moving slowly toward Earth. With so many ships, they did not need to hurry. We can't fight them all, he said. Not directly. So we run? Asked Jinho. No, said Do-hyun. We need to learn more about them. Find their weakness. Every species has a weakness, said Dr. Yunji. We just need to find it. Exactly, said Do-hyun. Taewon, can you hide our energy signature? Yes, Captain, said Taewon over the speaker. I can make us almost invisible to sensors. Good, said Do-hyun. We'll follow them, watch them, and then we'll strike when they don't expect it. One ship against 500, said Jinho. His voice was excited, not afraid. I like those odds. Do-hyun smiled. This was why he had wanted Jinho on his crew. The young man was not afraid to take risks. Mireille, what's Earth's response? Do-hyun asked. They say we should retreat, Captain, Mireille said. Return to Earth to help defend. Do-hyun shook his head. If we go back now, we lose our best chance. Tell them we're staying out. Here. We'll do more good as their eyes and ears. Yes, Captain, said Mireille. As the Hope moved quietly behind an ice moon, the alien ships continued toward Earth. Do-hyun watched them go. He had meant what he said. One ship might not win a direct fight, but it could make a difference. What's our plan, Captain? Asked Sunmi. First, we learn everything we can about these Krell, said Do-hyun. Then we find a way to beat them. And if we can't? Asked Sunmi quietly. Do-hyun looked at his old friend. Then we die trying, but I don't plan to die today. The UES Hope, hidden from the alien sensors, began to follow the Krell fleet. One small ship against an Armada, humanity's first and only line of defense. Do-hyun sat in his captain's chair. Let's get to work. The UES Hope hid in the rings of Saturn. The ice and rocks helped mask their presence from the Krell ships. Captain Do-hyun watched the main screen as data came in. The alien Armada had split up. Some ships went to Mars. Others moved toward Earth's moon. The biggest ship stayed in deep space waiting. What are they doing? Asked Sunmi, standing beside the captain's chair. Setting up for an attack, said Do-hyun. They're putting ships at key points where they can hit Earth from many sides. Sunmi nodded. And we're just watching. For now, said Do-hyun. Dr. Yunji, what have you learned about the Krell? Dr. Yunji had been studying the aliens non-stop for 3 days. Not enough, she said. But I have some ideas. Their ships give off an unusual type of radiation. It might be from their engines or weapons. Is the radiation dangerous to us? Asked Do-hyun. No, said Yunji. But it might tell us something about how their technology works. Do-hyun turned to Mireille. Have you broken their communication code yet? Mireille shook her head. Not completely, but I noticed something strange. All messages go to the main ship first, then to other ships. It's very controlled. That's useful, said Do-hyun. It means they have a central command structure. If we can cut off the head, the body might not know what to do. Captain, said Jinho from the weapons station. I've been watching their shield patterns. When they fire weapons, their shields weaken for a split second. It's small, but it's there. Do-hyun raised an eyebrow. That could be very helpful, Lieutenant. The captain's screen lit up with an incoming message. It was from Admiral Park, the head of Earth's defense forces. Captain Do-hyun, said the admiral. His face looked tired. What's your status? We're gathering intelligence on the enemy, sir, said Do-hyun, learning their weaknesses. We need more than intelligence, said Park. The aliens have set up blockades around Mars and our moon bases. They're demanding we surrender Earth by tomorrow. Sir, we're not ready to attack yet, said Do-hyun. If we move too soon, we'll lose our only advantage, surprise. Admiral Park frowned. I have millions of scared people down here, Captain. They want action. I understand, sir, said Do-hyun. But rushing in will just get us all killed. I need more time. The admiral was quiet for a moment. You have 24 hours. Then I want a plan. Park out. The screen went dark. Do-hyun turned to his crew. Let's move to the next phase, he said. We need to get closer to one of their ships. Hyunwoo was not supposed to be on the bridge. As a security officer, his place was elsewhere on the ship, but the captain had called him up. You were a hacker before you joined the Space Force. Do-hyun said. It wasn't a question. Yes, sir, said Hyunwoo, but that was a long time ago. I need those skills now, said Do-hyun. I want you to try to hack into the Krell computer systems. Hyunwoo's eyes went wide. Hack an alien computer? I don't even know their language. Work with me, Ray, said Do-hyun. She's starting to understand their communication patterns. Hyunwoo nodded slowly. I'll need to get very close to one of their ships. Leave that to me, said Do-hyun. The Hope moved silently through space. Taiwan had found a way to mask their engine signature. To Krell sensors, they would look like a small asteroid. They approached a Krell scout ship that was away from the main fleet. It was still 5 times bigger than the Hope, but it was alone. Get ready, Do-hyun told his crew. If they spot us, we'll have to move fast. In the science lab, Dr. Yoonji studied a small piece of metal they had found floating in space. It had come from a Krell ship. Under her microscope, she could see that it had a strange structure. Captain, she called over the comm, I found something. This metal reacts to certain types of radiation. It becomes brittle. What type of radiation? Asked Do-hyun. Delta waves, said Yoonji. If we could hit their ships with enough delta radiation, it might weaken their hulls. On the bridge, Do-hyun smiled. This was exactly what they needed. A weakness. Jin-ho, he said. Can our weapons be modified to emit delta radiation? Jin-ho thought for a moment. Yes, but it would take time. And we'd need to get very close. To have any effect, work on it, said Do-hyun. That's our backup plan. Hyunwoo and Mirai sat side by side, their screens showing lines of alien code. They had managed to pick up data transmissions from the nearby Krell ship. Look at this, said Hyunwoo. Their system architecture is strange. It's simple. Simple? Asked Mirai. What do you mean? They don't seem to have any protection against outside access, said Hyunwoo. It's like they've never heard of hackers. Maybe they haven't, said Mirai. Maybe where they come from, no one would dare try to hack the system. Hyunwoo's fingers flew over his keyboard. I think I can get in. Their whole fleet seems to run on one operating system. If I can find the right entry point. His screen suddenly filled with alien text and symbols. I'm in, he said, surprised. I'm actually in their system. On the main Krell ship, Supreme Commander Vex looked at the message from Earth. The humans were asking for more time to consider surrender terms. They are stalling, said his second-in-command. Of course they are, said Vex. But it doesn't matter. They have no chance against our fleet. We have conquered 17 worlds before this one. Earth will be the 18th. What about the ship that was at the edge of the system? Asked the second-in-command. The one that refused to surrender. One small ship? Vex laughed. It's probably hiding, hoping we'll forget about it. A light flashed on his control panel. Something was wrong with the scout ship near Saturn. What's happening? He demanded. We've lost contact with scout ship. 12, said an officer. Last report showed an asteroid approaching, then nothing. Vex frowned. Send 2 ships to investigate. If the humans think they can pick us off one by one, they will learn a painful lesson. Back on the Hope, the crew celebrated their small victory. They had disabled the Krell scout ship with a focused burst of delta radiation. Then Hyunwoo had shut down its systems using his newfound access to the Krell network. The radiation worked, said Dr. Yoonji. Their hull became weak enough for our weapons to break through. And their computers had no defense against my attack, said Hyunwoo. I think I can do the same to other ships. Good work, all of you, said Do-hyun, but we need to move quickly. They'll send ships to investigate. Captain, said Sunmi, we can't fight the whole fleet, even with these advantages. We won't have to, said Do-hyun. Admiral Park wants a plan. Now we have one. He pointed to the main screen, which showed the Krell fleet positions. We're going to hit them where it hurts most, their command ship. Cut off the head and the body will fall. That's their biggest ship, said Jin-ho. In the middle of their fleet. Yes, said Do-hyun. And that's where we're going. The Hope's engines powered up. They had found the enemy's weakness. Now it was time to use it. This plan is crazy, said Sunmi. She looked at the map showing the Krell fleet around Earth. In the center was the huge command ship. We can't get close enough to hit them. Do-hyun nodded. Not with a normal approach. That's why we need to do something they won't expect. The crew of the Hope had gathered in the meeting room. Admiral Park's face was on the main screen. He did not look happy. Let me get this straight, said the Admiral. You want to attack their main ship? The biggest one in their fleet? The one surrounded by hundreds of other ships? Yes, sir, said Do-hyun. We found two weaknesses. Their ships are weak against delta radiation, and their computer systems have no protection against our hacks. Even so, said Park, you're just one ship. One ship they aren't looking for, said Do-hyun. They think we're hiding. They don't. Expect an attack? Admiral Park was quiet for a moment. And you think this will work? It's our best chance, said Do-hyun. If we can disable their command ship, the rest of the fleet won't know what to do. The Admiral sighed. The Krell have given us 12 hours to surrender. After that, they start bombing our cities. He looked tired. Do what you have to do, Captain. Earth is counting on you. The screen went dark. Do-hyun looked at his crew. Let's get to work, he said. In the engine room, Taewon was working with a young engineer named Min-soo. Min-soo had only been on the Hope for 6 months, but he had already shown great skill. We need more power for the delta radiation, said Taewon. Can you reroute the energy from the backup systems? Min-soo nodded. I can, but it's risky. If we need those backups, we won't, said Taewon. Either this works or nothing else will matter. They bent over the engine controls, making changes that weren't in any manual. What they were doing would probably get them in trouble if they survived, but that was a big if. Dr. Yoonji was working with Dr. Han, the ship's physicist. They were trying to find a way to make the delta radiation stronger. If we modify the wave pattern like this, said Dr. Han, showing a diagram, we can increase the effect by 300%. Yoonji looked at the numbers. That would definitely weaken their hulls, but can our ship produce that kind of radiation? With Min-soo's engine modifications, yes, said Dr. Han. But we'll need to be very close to their ship. How close? Asked Yoonji. Dr. Han made a face. Too close. In the pilot's room, Sunmi was talking to Ju-ri, the Hope's best pilot. We need a flight path that will get us to the Krell command ship without being spotted, said Sunmi. Ju-ri studied the map of the Krell fleet. Their ships are everywhere, but... She pointed to a spot. There's a gap here. If we time it right, we could slip through when they rotate positions. How tight will it be? Asked Sunmi. Very tight, said Ju-ri. We'll have less than 10 seconds to get through before their ships close the gap. Sunmi nodded. Can you do it? Ju-ri smiled. I wouldn't offer if I couldn't. Captain Do-hyun sat alone in his quarters. He had recorded a message for his family back on Earth. He didn't expect to see them again. There was a knock on his door. Come in, he said. Sunmi entered. Everything is ready, Captain. We can launch the attack in 1 hour. Good, said Do-hyun. He stood up. Let's go save Earth. The Hope moved quietly away from Saturn. Taewon had found a way to mask their energy signature, making them almost invisible to Krell sensors. But it wouldn't last long. Once they started moving fast, the Krell would see them. All stations report, said Do-hyun from the captain's chair. Engines ready, said Taewon. We've got all the power we can get. Weapons systems modified for delta radiation, said Jin-ho. Ready to fire. Flight path plotted, said Ju-ri from the pilot's seat. Ready to execute. Computer virus ready to upload, said Hyun-woo. As soon as we're in range. Do-hyun took a deep breath. This is it. The fate of Earth depends on what we do next. He looked at his crew. They were scared, but determined. Let's show these aliens what humans can do. Ju-ri, Take us in. The Hope's engines fired up. They shot forward, heading straight for the Krell fleet. For the first few minutes, no one noticed them. They were just another object in space moving among the Krell ships. Then an alarm sounded. "We've been spotted," said Sunmi. "Krell ships are turning toward us." "Stay on course," said Do-hyun. "Juri, get us to that gap." Juri's hands moved over the controls. The Hope turned and twisted, avoiding Krell ships that tried to intercept them. A few shots hit the Hope, but the shields held. "Gap coming up. In 15 seconds, said Juri. "It's going to be close." The main screen showed two huge Krell ships slowly moving toward each other. The space between them was getting smaller by the second. 10 seconds, said Juri. 8, 6. The gap was now barely big enough for the Hope to fit through. "Now!" shouted Juri. The Hope shot forward, engines at full power. They slipped, between the two Krell ships with just meters to spare. "We're through," said Sunmi. "Path to the command ship is clear." "Not for long," said Do-hyun. "Look." The Krell had realized what was happening. Ships were turning, moving to protect their command ship. But they were too slow. The Hope was already heading straight for it. "Supreme Commander Vex is hailing us," said Mirai. "Put him on screen," said Do-hyun. Vex's face appeared. He looked angry but also impressed. "You are either very brave or very foolish, Captain. One ship cannot defeat our fleet. We'll see about that," said Do-hyun. "Jinho, fire Delta radiation. Full power." The Hope shook as all its energy poured into the radiation emitters. A beam of invisible energy shot out, hitting the Krell command ship. "Hyunwoo, upload the virus," ordered Do-hyun. Hyunwoo's fingers flew over his keyboard. "Uploading now." On the screen, Vex looked confused. Alarms were sounding on his ship. "What are you doing? Our hull integrity is—" The screen went black. "Virus. Uploaded," said Hyunwoo. "Their systems are shutting down." The huge Krell command ship began to drift. Its lights flickered and went out. But the Hope had paid a price. The radiation burst had damaged their own systems. "Engine power at 40%, reported Taewon. "Shields failing." "Krell ships are confused," said Sunmi, looking at the tactical display. "Some are still moving, but they're not coordinating." "The virus worked," said Hyunwoo. "It's spreading to other ships through their network." Do-hyun watched as the Krell fleet began to fall into chaos. Some ships were firing, but not at the Hope. They were hitting each other in the confusion. "Captain," said Taewon over the comm. "We have a problem. The engine core is unstable. We need to shut it down or it will explode." Do-hyun looked at Sunmi. She nodded. They both knew what that meant. Without engines, they couldn't escape. "Understood," said Do-hyun. "Shut it down." The Hope went dark as the engines died. They were now drifting, surrounded by the confused Krell fleet. "Send a message to Earth," said Do-hyun. "Tell them what we did. Tell them—" He paused. "Tell them it worked." As the message was sent, Do-hyun looked out at the stars. The impossible had happened. One ship had brought down an alien armada, but the battle wasn't over yet. The UES Hope drifted in space. Its engines were dead. Life support systems were running on backup power. But the crew was still alive. That was more than they had expected. "Status report," said Captain Do-hyun. His voice was calm, even now. "Main, power is gone," said Taewon from the engine room. "Life support has about 10 hours left. Hull is damaged in several places, but holding." "Any chance of getting the engines back online?" asked Do-hyun. Taewon was quiet for a moment. "Maybe. Minsu has an idea. It's risky, but worth trying." "Do it," said Do-hyun. He turned to Sunmi. "What's happening with the Krell fleet?" Sunmi looked at the tactical display. "It's chaos out there. Some ships are drifting. Others are trying to help the command ship. A few are leaving the system entirely." "Their chain of command is broken," said Mirai. "I'm picking up confused messages between ships. No one knows who's in charge." Do-hyun allowed himself a small smile. Their plan had worked better than expected. The Krell command structure had collapsed. Without clear orders, the fleet was falling apart. "Captain," said Mirai suddenly, I'm picking up Earth signals. They're launching ships. What kind of ships? Asked Do-hyun. Everything they have, said Mi-rae. Military ships, civilian ships. They're coming to help us. Do-hyun shook his head. Tell them to stay away. It's still not safe. But the message came too late. Earth ships were already approaching the confused Krell fleet. To Do-hyun's surprise, the alien ships were not attacking. Some were even retreating. They're afraid, said Sunmi, watching the screen. They've never faced an enemy who fought back like this. A new voice came over the comm system. UES Hope, this is Captain Young Jae of the rescue ship Horizon. We're coming to get you. Do-hyun couldn't believe it. They were sending rescue ships into the middle of an alien fleet. Humans never gave up. On the Krell command ship, Supreme Commander Vex was furious. Nothing was working. The ship's systems kept shutting down. His officers looked to him for orders, but he had none to give. What did they do to us? He demanded. Unknown, Commander, said an officer. Our computer network is infected with something. It's spreading to all ships connected to our system. Disconnect from the network, ordered Vex. We've tried, said the officer. But the virus prevents it. It has control of our systems. Vex slammed his fist on the control panel. This was impossible. One small human ship had crippled his entire fleet. In all his years of conquering worlds, nothing like this had ever happened. A message appeared on his screen. It was in the Krell language, but it wasn't from a Krell ship. The humans had learned to speak to them. This is Earth, the message read. We offered peace. You chose war. Now see what one human ship can do. Imagine what all of us can do. Leave our system now. Vex stared at the message. For the first time in his life, he felt fear. On the Hope, the crew watched as the Horizon approached. Behind it came other ships. Earth was fighting back. Captain, said Jin-ho from the weapons station, Krell ships are leaving, they're retreating. Do-hyun couldn't believe what he was seeing. The mighty alien fleet was running away. Not all of them. Some were still trying to fight. But most were turning, heading back to deep space. The rescue ship Horizon pulled alongside the Hope. Captain Young Jae appeared on the screen. Captain Do-hyun, he said. Earth wants to thank you. You saved us all. Do-hyun shook his head. Not just me. My crew, we all did this together. We're sending rescue teams over, said Young Jae. Just sit tight. Soon, people in spacesuits were moving from the Horizon to the Hope. Among them was a medical officer named Ji-un. We need to check everyone for injuries, she said as she came onto the bridge. She looked at Do-hyun. Starting with you, Captain. Do-hyun tried to stand up, but fell back into his chair. Only now did he realize how tired he was. Take care of my crew first, he said. Ji-un shook her head. Always the hero. You have a bad cut on your head, Captain. Let me fix that. As Ji-un treated his wound, Do-hyun watched the screen. The Krell fleet was still retreating. Earth ships were following, making sure they left. We did it, said Sunmi, standing next to him. We actually did it. Yes, said Do-hyun. But at what cost? The Hope was badly damaged, it might never fly again, and they had lost good people in the battle. The cost of freedom, said Sunmi. The cost of survival. 3 days later, Do-hyun woke up in a hospital on Earth. His injuries had been worse than he thought. He had slept for almost 72 hours. Sunmi was sitting next to his bed. Welcome back, Captain. The crew? He asked right away. All alive, said Sunmi. Some injuries, but everyone made it. Do-hyun closed his eyes, relieved. And the Krell? Gone, said Sunmi. At least from our system. They sent a message before they left. They want to talk peace now. Do-hyun laughed. It hurt his ribs, but he couldn't help it. Peace? After they tried to conquer us? I think we scared them, said Sunmi. No one has ever stood up to them before. The door opened and Admiral Park walked in. He looked happier than Do-hyun had ever seen him. Captain, said Park. Good to see you awake. Earth has a lot to thank you for. Just doing my job, sir, said Do-hyun. Your job saved humanity, said Park. The president wants to meet you and your crew when you're better. What about the Krell? Asked Do-hyun. Will they come back? I don't think so, said Park. Not for a long time anyway. We've sent Ambassador Suman to meet with them. Turns out they've conquered many worlds, but none ever fought back like we did. One ship, said Do-hyun. We beat them with one ship. That's why they're scared, said Park. They can't understand how we did it. They think we must have some secret weapon or technology. We do, said Do-hyun. It's called human ingenuity and courage. A month later, the Hope was in a space dock being repaired. Do-hyun stood on the observation deck looking at his ship. Engineers swarmed over it, fixing the damage, making it better than before. Supreme Commander Vex, now a prisoner, stood beside him, guarded by 2 soldiers. The alien leader had been captured when his ship was boarded. I still don't understand, said Vex. How did one ship defeat my fleet? You thought technology would win the battle, said Do-hyun. But wars aren't won by ships or weapons. They're won by the people who use them. Vex looked confused. You were outnumbered, outgunned. By all logic, you should have lost. That's your problem, said Do-hyun. You think only in terms of logic and numbers. Humans think with our hearts as well as our heads. We don't give up, even when logic says, we should. Ambassador Suman joined them. The Krell Empire has agreed to peace talks, she said. And not just with us. They're releasing the other worlds they conquered. Because of one ship, said Vex, still amazed. Because of the Hope. Do-hyun smiled. That's why we named it that. Hope is the most powerful force in the universe. It's what makes humans fight when we should surrender. It's what makes us stand when we should fall. As the sun rose over Earth, the Hope gleamed in the light. It was more than a ship. It was a symbol of what humanity could do when faced with impossible odds. One ship had changed the galaxy forever. One ship had taught a powerful alien empire that humans would not be conquered. One ship had given hope to worlds across the stars. The UES Hope would fly again. And next time, it would journey out not to fight, but to explore. To meet new friends, instead of enemies. To show the galaxy what humans could really do, Captain Do-hyun looked at his ship and smiled. The impossible battle was over. Now the real adventure could begin.